Hi, welcome to my channel Biology Bookmark. We will be discussing the first chapter of NCERT for class 12, which is reproduction. So this chapter is just an introduction, and the details we will be studying in the chapters that will follow. What is lifespan? Lifespan is nothing but the period between life and natural death. Natural death is something that occurs due to old age and senescence, and not because of external factors like natural calamities like earthquakes or tsunamis, and people die in accidents. So that's also not a natural death. So it's different for different individuals. Different individuals have different lifespans. For example, a horse lives for say 25 to 30 years on an average, and an elephant lives for 60 to 80 years. And also, no individual is immortal. Every individual that takes birth has to die. So, and there is an exception, which is single-celled organisms, because they say they do not reproduce, they just divide from 1 to 2. So say there is an individual A, and it divides into two daughter cells. So technically the individual will never die, because it will continue to live through its daughter cells. So they die only by external factors like temperature and pH. So say the temperature is, if there is an organism which is susceptible to high temperatures, if you give that single celled organism very very high temperatures, it's going to die. Here is some chart. You need to figure out which animal lives for how long. For example, dog lives for 12 to 15 years, horse lives for say 25 to 30 years, and the elephant lives for 60 to 80 years. Reproduction. What is reproduction? Reproduction is a biological process. It's the process by which an organism gives rise to its younger one, and the organism who gives birth is parent, and the one who takes birth is offspring. And they are similar because the organism which is giving birth transfers its genetic material to the young one. That's why they are, the parent and offspring, they are similar. That's why you look like your parents. And reproduction is a process which ensures there is continuity of generation. So the flow goes like, there is a circle which is like birth, then the individual will grow, and it will reach the age at which it can reproduce. It will reproduce, and then it will die. So types of reproduction. So it depends whether organisms participating, whether it's one or two. So it's of two types. Asexual reproduction is when an offspring is produced by a single parent. There are not two parents. Like for example, in amoeba, as you'll see ahead, amoeba divides by say binary fission, and there is only a single parent involved. So there can be gamete formation, and there is possible that there are no gametes. Sexual reproduction is when two parents of opposite sex, they participate in reproductive process, and there will be male gametes and female gametes. They will form a zygote, and the zygote will develop into a full-fledged individual. So what is asexual reproduction? In asexual reproduction, a single organism will produce offspring, and because there is a single organism producing offspring, is going to transfer its genetic material as it is to this offspring, and therefore the offspring is going to be genetically identical. And what do we call genetically identical two individuals? We call them clones. So you can say that asexual reproduction produces clones of the parent. So if the genetic material of two individuals is exactly same, they are going to look same, which is they will be morphologically similar, and genetically, yeah, they are similar, because there is no addition or deletion of genetic material, because there is only one parent involved. So examples are protistans and monorans, as we will see ahead. For example, amoeba, it divides by binary fission. Binary means two, that it will divide. As you can see, there is the parent amoeba, and the nucleus will divide into two, and finally there will be two daughter cells coming out of one parent, and these two daughter cells will further divide into more daughter cells. They will become parents and they will give rise to more daughter cells. And another example is paramecium, the slipper organism you call it. Next is yeast. Yeast is used to make breads, and it's used in alcohol industry also. It divides unequally. As you can see, parent cell will form a tiny little bud. This is the nucleus. It will divide into two. So the parent body is bigger than the offspring's body, as opposed to in amoeba, one parent is equally divided into two daughter cells. The size of daughter cells is equal. So small buds will form. They are initially attached, and then a wall will form, and this will go ahead and form another parent cell, just like this one. Chlamydomonas, it's the green algae. It forms zoospores. Like this is the parent algae. It will form little spores, and the parent body has flagella like this one has, and it reproduces asexually only during unfavorable conditions. And when there are unfavorable conditions, as in when the temperature is not in accordance to the individual, or the pH is not, or some other weather conditions, or environmental conditions, sorry, not weather conditions. So it forms zoospores. The spores will they will form inside the parent body. They will be released, and so that's how they reproduce.